Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, we're going to explore something fascinating. Ancient rituals. And, what's really interesting is how relevant they still are to our lives, even today.
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing how these ancient practices, they can offer some pretty powerful insights, even thousands of years
I
later.
know. We're going to be looking at a really specific text. It outlines this whole meticulous system of offerings and
They
sacrifices.
might seem a bit archaic at first glance, but
Right?
trust me, there are some really powerful insights here. They resonate even thousands of years later, I think.
I'm intrigued. So
Yeah.
tell me, what was the purpose of all these offerings?
Well, essentially it was a way for people to connect with the divine, to express gratitude, acknowledge a higher power, and demonstrate their devotion.
And you said it was meticulous. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the text outlines very specific offerings for different occasions, daily, weekly, monthly, and for special festivals. It even specifies the types of animals, the quantities of grain, everything.
Wow, that's incredible. So how does this ancient practice, how does it connect to our modern lives? We don't exactly sacrifice animals anymore.
You're right, the practices themselves may seem outdated, but the underlying principles, those are surprisingly relevant, I think. Think about it, these rituals were all about creating a rhythm of intentionality in their
A
lives.
rhythm of intentionality. That's an interesting way to put it. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure, imagine a calendar, but not just for appointments, but for consciously aligning your actions with your values. These rituals served as reminders to pause, reflect, and reconnect with their spiritual core, something I think we often crave in our busy, always-on world.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, those new moon rituals, hitting that reset button, taking stock, setting new intentions for the month ahead.
Exactly. It's a powerful concept, and it resonates even today. Think about the psychological benefits of regular reflection and goal setting. Those are echoes of these ancient practices.
So it's not about the literal act of sacrifice, but the deeper meaning behind it, the commitment to something bigger than ourselves,
Yeah.
the intentionality, the rhythm.
Precisely. And there's another crucial element here, stewardship. The offerings often represented a portion of what they received, acknowledging the source of their abundance and giving back.
That's a powerful concept. It reminds me of donating to causes, volunteering our time, or even just being mindful
Yeah.
of how we use our resources. It's about recognizing that we're part of something larger than ourselves.
Yes. And the meticulous instructions for these offerings that emphasizes the importance of approaching our commitments with care and excellence.
It's like that old saying, anything worth doing is worth doing well. But in this case, it's more like anything worth doing is worth doing with mindful intention.
And that's a message that transcends time. It's about bringing our full presence and attention to whatever we do, whether it's, a spiritual practice, a work project, or even just a simple act of kindness.
This is fascinating. It's amazing how these ancient rituals can still offer such valuable lessons for modern life. Okay, so we've talked about the rhythm of intentionality and the concept of stewardship. What else can we glean from these ancient practices?
Well, one thing that strikes me, is the communal aspect of these rituals. They weren't just solitary acts. They were often community events, bringing people together around shared values and beliefs.
That makes a lot of sense. There's something powerful about shared experiences, especially when it comes to connecting with something larger than ourselves.
Absolutely. Think about the energy of a concert or a sporting event. You're surrounded by people who share a common passion, and that collective energy, it's palpable.
You're right. Even in our modern world, we crave those moments of collective meaning and belonging.
Exactly. And just like those ancient festivals, modern gatherings, whether it's a religious service, a community festival, or even a family dinner, can reinforce our sense of connection and shared purpose.
It's like we're hardwired for these kinds of rituals, for those moments of connection and transcendence.
It seems so. Reading through these descriptions of ancient offerings, I couldn't help but think about New Year's resolutions. It's a modern ritual where we set intentions for the year ahead, making promises to ourselves about how we want to live, eat, exercise.
It's that same impulse, isn't it? A desire for renewal, for a fresh start. We may not be offering up lambs, but we are offering up our commitment to change, to growth.
Exactly. It's fascinating how these ancient patterns of behavior still resonate within us.
And it's not just personal. We see this collective desire for change, reflected in social movements too. People coming together, advocating for justice and equality. It's a collective offering of time, energy, and passion to create a better world.
Absolutely. It's about aligning our actions with our values, both individually and collectively. And those ancient rituals, they offer a powerful blueprint for how to do that with intention and purpose.
So even though we don't sacrifice animals anymore, the underlying principles, consistency, rhythm, stewardship, intentionality, community, these are all timeless human needs
Yeah.
that are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago.
And maybe even more so in our hyper-connected, fast-paced world, where it's easy to feel disconnected from ourselves, each other, and something bigger than ourselves.
I think you're right. That's why revisiting these ancient texts can be so valuable. They offer a glimpse into the enduring wisdom of humanity, reminding us that the search for meaning, connection, and purpose is a journey we've been on for millennia, and the journey continues today.
Exactly. And it's a journey we don't have to take alone. We can draw inspiration from these ancient practices, adapting them to fit our modern lives, and create our own rituals, big or small, that shape our lives and give them meaning.
It's about being intentional, about choosing to live with purpose, about creating those moments of pause and reflection in our busy lives.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Even small, consistent actions can have a profound impact on our well-being and sense of purpose. It's about finding what resonates with you, what aligns with your values, and weaving it into the fabric of your life.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up our deep dive into ancient rituals and their modern relevance, let's turn the lens inward for a moment. So think about one area of your life where you could, create a ritual,
Mm.
enhance a ritual. It could be starting your day with a moment of reflection, or setting aside time each week to connect with nature,
Mm.
or even, committing to a regular act of service in your community.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is how these rituals, even the small ones, can have a ripple effect on our lives. It can ground us, connect us, and remind us of what truly matters.
I love that, the ripple effect of simple rituals. What about you? What kind of small rituals have you found impactful in your life?
Well, one thing I've started doing is keeping a gratitude journal. Each night, I just take a few minutes to jot down things I'm grateful for. It's simple, but it really helps me shift my focus to the positive and cultivate a sense of appreciation.
That's a great example. It's amazing how such a small practice can have such a powerful impact on our outlook. And it doesn't have to be a journal. It could be lighting a candle each evening, taking a mindful walk, or even just pausing for a moment to savor a cup of tea.
Exactly. It's about finding those moments of pause, those pockets of intentionality that allow us to reconnect with ourselves and the world around us.
Because ultimately, that's what these ancient rituals were all about, reminding us of our place in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
fostering a sense of gratitude, connection, and, helping us live lives filled with meaning and purpose.
Beautifully said. It's a timeless journey. And, we each have the power to create rituals that enrich us, that guide us along the way.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today into ancient rituals and their modern relevance, we'll leave you with this question to ponder. What small ritual could you create or enhance to bring more intentionality and meaning into your life? Until next time, keep diving deep.